Hi everybody, I'm just going to quickly show you how to do the mean, median and mode on the calculator from the little revision task that we've been doing Thursday and Friday. So you've got this little video to help you with your revision over the weekend. What I've got here is the iPad app of the TI Nspire, and it does most of the things the same way as it does on your calculator. There are a few things that your calculator does slightly differently. For example, it's much easier to type in numbers and data with your calculator than it is on mine, but the same thing applies. If we have a look, that cell there, that's how we name our cell, and I'm looking at the data, which is 30 pupils in a class, so I put my 30 pupils in there. So this is for the amount of milk that's been drunk, so I have to title that something. It says milk, and now I need to put in the values. So let me just type in the values: 18, 21, 15, 21, and so on. And I'm just going to keep on doing that until it's completed. Now, obviously, you're going to get bored if you watch all of this, so I'm just going to show you, run through everything, and then tell you what the answers to the questions are. So that's the first 10. I know there are 30 bits. So I need to go into, you would do Control Doc to add a new page. I just add a page by pushing the Add button. And I go into the calculator. You would click on Menu, and it's Statistics, Stat Calculations, and we have just a list. It's called raw data. This is that raw data. We're only having one variable. You keep on asking me what two variable statistics are. It's when you're comparing two things, not frequency, that's still one variable, but two things. So, for example, your arm span versus your height, your math mark against your physics mark. Did I say math? I meant maths. I'm not American. Okay, one variable statistics, we have the one list. Click OK. My X1 list is what I called milk. Now, yours is much better than mine. You could actually, mine does it as well, milk. And click OK. Frequency list is there, so click OK. And out comes everything. Now, the data I want is N is how many bits of data I've entered. Now, I've only entered in 10 bits of data. You would enter 30. And the X bar, which the top which reads 18.8, would be the mean. It's the mean of that 10 data. This capital sigma X, is 188. That means that data sums to 188. Sum of X squared is something that we use a bit later, but not this year, next year. This XX and little sigma X, these are types of what we call standard deviation. Something you'll hear me talk about a bit on on Friday's lesson. Then we need the min, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum. This SSX is something you use a lot in 3-period maths in 7th year. It helps us describe the data in a certain type of way. We don't need it this year. Don't even need it in 5th year. Don't even need it in 6th year. Just 7th year. But you will see posters in my classroom with it being used. So, you would use the min, the lower quartile, median, and upper quartile, and the maximum to draw yourself a box plot. Okay. What were the answers we were looking for? If you just bear with me, I will just get the answers. So the answer for 1A was 21 pints. 1B is 18.3 pints. 1C is 18 pints. Now we're on to question 2. And it was the words. Now, I showed you how to do question 2 in class, but I think it's worthwhile me doing this again. Now, you're going to need to add a new problem. Now, I think a new problem I'm going to struggle to be able to do because I don't have the doc button here. So what I'm just going to do, you would do doc insert problem. I'm just going to add a new page because this is the easiest way of doing it. So I'm just going to new, and I go back into the listen spreadsheets. Now, again, this one's for letters, so I'm just going to put letters. Oops, I don't want to do that. Come on, there we go. So letters, and then B is frequency. Okay, so I populate this list by having 1 all the way to 32. There are other ways of doing this. There's a quick way of counting on the calculator. If you're interested, just ask me. But for ease on this, I'm just going to do this. Okay, 13. I put my data in. Notice how the data is already ordered from 1 to there. So we have 6 bits of data here. We have 21 bits of data here. We have 9 bits of data here, and so on. So some of you say, oh, there's only 13 bits of data. No, there's 21 just for words that are 2 letters long. 21, 9, 10, 9. I just lost my place there. 2, 2, 5, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. It's important that you don't have that cell still highlighted. You've moved off that cell. Otherwise, you have something called a dimension mismatch. A dimension mismatch is when you've got one column has more data than the other. So maybe you have 13 points plotted against 12, and it says, oh, we can't do that. So I'm going to add a new page, calculator page. I'm going to do what I did before: menu, statistics, stat calculations, one variable, still one variable, not frequency. This time we have letters, but the frequency list is frequency. I click OK. And I have all my data that I had before. So the mean is 4.25, the sum of x is 302, the n is 71 pieces of data, and so on. Okay, we've got the min max and stuff like that. The answers to the question, if you would bear with me, the answer to the question are 2a is 4.3 letters. You'll see that I have 4.25, so it rounds to 4.3. B is 3, and C is 2. D, no. Okay, I said yes in class, but okay, listen to the explanation they give here. D, no, because a sample is very small compared with the whole book, and it is only taken from one part of the book. But I still think if you were to compare books from different years you were taught in, so for example, think back to P1 or maybe even Maternelle, you would expect the words to be a lot shorter. But anyway, always with data, the larger sample size, the better it's going to be. You maybe want to add so data and statistics, you put your letters in there. You don't put necessarily frequency in the add variable on the y-axis. So menu, plot properties, add y summary list, and I put that shows to me that I have a frequency rather than having just the raw data. So it's not group data, but there we go, something like that. I don't like this exactly, because it should be 1 should be in the middle, 2 should be in the middle, 3 should be in the middle. We should have gaps. It's discrete data. So we're now on to question 3. So if we go back onto question 3, lists and spreadsheets again, and I'm going to call this one weight, and I'm going to call this one frequency. And what you get is we have to put in the midpoints, because guess what? Our calculator doesn't like to have group data, so we have to use midpoints. So we're going to put in 80, 150, 450. So these are all the midpoints. 800. And then we have to go from, it's going to be 1,500 grams, which is 1.5 kilograms, and then 2,500. I put my weights in, sorry, I put my frequencies in now, so it's 21, 44, 17, 9, 5, 4. And what we do next, we do exactly what I did for question 2. So I go to, oops, I don't want to do that. I want to go to add, calculator. I go to statistics, one variable statistics, after stat calculation, one variable statistics still, one list, weight and frequency. Click OK. And what do I get? I get all my data values again. So calculate an estimate for the mean is 406.3. In which class interval does the median lie? Well, the median is 150, so it lies within 100 to 300. in which class info. Okay, and how would I do that without the calculator? Well, I know there are 100 bits of data, so I do 100 add 1 is 101, and then I divide that by 2, so I'm looking for where the 50.5 value is, or 50.5th value. So I do 21, and then I add 44 to it. Now, if I get to 21, it's not got to 50.5th, but 21 add 44 is beyond it, so it must be in the 100 to 300 range. What is the modal class interval? The modal class interval is 100 to 300 because modal means the most frequent, the most common. If you want to plot a histogram, I'll show you now. I'm going to go to add. I'm going to add data and statistics. I'm going to put my weight there. Now, because it's a frequency, I go plot properties, many plot properties, add y summary list, not variable, it's not a variable, it's summary list, and its frequency. I now need to do the bin settings. So histogram menu, histogram properties, or plot properties, histogram properties, bin settings, equal bin width, and we're going to have a bin width of, I'm silly, I can't do an equal bin width. I'm not even sure I can do this with a variable bin width. I don't know if this is going to work. No, I can't do that. I can't do that because can you see the class widths are all different? I'm going to try and do it. I'll try and do it on the on question 4. Okay. So question 4. Oh, I went straight to a calculator, didn't I? Let's go back and put list of spreadsheets in. Question 4. I'm going to read the data off from the graph. So we've got litres. There kind of works backwards the opposite way to what we're used to, frequency, and then I'm going to put the midpoint of each of these values. So between 1 and 1.01 is the value is 1.005, then it's 1.015, then it's 1.025, then 1.035, then 1.045, and then 1.055. The frequencies are as follows. The frequencies are 8. Well, I need to type, yeah, I've got frequency in there. 21, 31, I think anyway, 31. 12, 14, it's quite hard to see on the computer screen, 14, and then 8, and then the last one is 2. Okay, so I've got all that in. So write down the modal class. The modal class is easy, it's 1.02 to 1.03. In which class interval does the median value lie? Well, it looks to me it's going to be in between 1.0 to 1.03, but we can check. So I go to add, actually I've already got the calculator there, haven't I? I go back to my calculator page. I go to stat calculations, so statistics, stat calculations, one variable statistics, number list 1, one list litres, frequency list freak, click OK, and I have the median is at 1.025, 1.025, computer's gone a bit crazy, which is what I think I thought I said it was. You can see that the estimate of the mean is 1.02488. I'm going to show you the histogram, how to do the histogram that. So add, so that'll be control doc for you on your calculator. Add data and statistics. Tap to add variable litres. Plot properties, menu plot properties. Add y summary list. Frequency. Now we need to change the bin settings. And remember we start at 1. So we go to plot properties, histogram properties, bin settings, equal bin width. And the bin width, I believe, is 0.01. The alignment starts at 1. And there we have, that's exactly what you had from the question. And there you go. Done. So that's questions 1 to 4 on the worksheet 72 mean, median and mode.